Okay, that was kind of my bad. I didn't realize that the music wasn't on loop like it normally is. So sorry for the couple moments of silence. So anyways, I also need to pull up the dashboard on my phone now because the boys only got the one monitor. So give me a second here to do that. All right. We are good to go as far as I know. And let's get right into some Fall Guys. So, I don't know if I talked about this the other night or not, but so my college is doing a Zoom play this coming quarter because, you know, Plague 19, but I actually think I talked about this right at the start of Fall Guys last time too, but I got the okay from my professor, the one who, you know, is in charge of theater and casting and all that. Yeah, a Zoom play, so, like, I don't know the logistics behind it, like, costuming, backgrounds, all of that, but as far as my imagination has led on that... No, the play's not called Zoom. We're not doing a play based on that old, Tim Allen superhero movie. We're not doing that. But what we are doing is a play over the Zoom program. Which, I have a lot of issues with Zoom and grievances, and I've talked about them before. And how I've had to format my PC because of it, but, I think that it's kind of nice that we're seeing theater still happen in, well, any capacity, because I just got knocked down. Well, because, you know, this is kind of the degree that I put everything into for the most part. How do we already have... Great start. Oh, hi, McD. But, yeah, so the play is going to be over the program Zoom. Also, they have portal skins? That's actually really cool. Also, part of me wants to buy the top half of the soda cup. Nice refreshing banana water. Or an applause emote. Shoot. Well, the night is young. Let's try and get both. As we are... My favorite Death Stranding character, Hot Dogman. Ooh, the steel color scheme. That's gonna be nice. Did you hear back from the... Yeah, I heard back from the professor, actually. That's what I was talking about with this, is the professor, since I told him, hey, I can't really make it that day because I'm gonna be officiating a wedding on that day from, like, 6 to whenever, so during the time that auditions would be over Zoom, unfortunately, I asked him, hey, can we, you know, meet halfway on this? And since I have a whole recording studio as a voice actor, could I, with your express permission, do a pre-recorded audition and send it in? And fortunately for me, he gave me the okay on that, which is nice. Also, you already gotta go back to... Okay. I love you, hon. But, yeah, so I'm gonna be able to do the audition preemptively, and I'm thinking that I might, you know, clean the audio up a little bit, because what I've noticed with a lot of, the Zoom calls that are done with the professionals in a lot of things right now is they've just got like an AirPod in one ear and no mic whatsoever except for, their laptop's built-in mic, or, some PCs have built-in microphones. But so to have the setup that I do is really kind of it worked out well in the end, that I can use it not just for, voice acting, but with the adapting medium of theater given Plague-19 right now, and the precautions and adjustments that we're having to make in a lot of, businesses and industries as a result of that. Because, like, one of the things that I was worried about is when people were telling me, oh, did you see the news? Broadway's, like, turned off the lights and everything. Broadway's gone dark. And I'm like, shit. Because the worry that everyone had with the survivability of theater is we're a medium that wholesale relies on the involvement of a crowd and the involvement of people, even if they're silent. Like, sports, kind of in the same boat, but sports has much more money behind it, so they have a lot more things that they can do to prepare and adapt for a situation like this that we don't get with theater, because that's unfortunately just how it is. But, and my voice is a little bit hoarse, actually, after doing all of the deep, gravelly voices. I'm starting to realize as I keep talking in a regular tone. But, yeah, so one of the precautions that sports have that we don't is they've got the technology to, prepare. They've got the audience that they can reach, because there's many buildings built for sports, and there's many theaters, that's also true, but there's also still nowhere near as much backing behind theater as there is with, say, sports. So, like, the reliance of, like, everything that Plague-19 has kind of kneecapped us on has made theater really kind of an endangered beast. Also, oh shit. If we can get at least the soccer balls out of blue team, keep one in yellow, we should be able to win. Just by sheer salt. Oh, here, I'm holding on to you. God damn it. This is gonna lead to us getting eliminated, isn't it? Keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the ball. Oh my goodness. No. God damn it, still eliminated. That's annoying. Oh well. So, I actually had someone, ask me how competitive is the today during Overwatch when I was doing quick play, and it was weird to think about because I haven't done competitive in Overwatch since 2017. So, like, I have no idea how the system is, but I also, like, really do not like how salty people are in quick play, so God forbid solo queuing in ranked matches. Like, that just... it sounds like a not fun time. Don't solo comp ever going with the team. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, is nowadays if you're solo comping, you're kind of just asking for the worst of it. Because considering how people, you know, act during solo queue quick play, or even just quick play in general, I'm afraid to think of how it would be to solo queue comp. Oh, rip that spaceman. But I've been looking at a lot of the games that are coming out recently, and I'm hyped for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles getting the re-release that it is. Like, I have a unique kind of experience with Crystal Chronicles for the GameCube, in that I had the foggiest memories of it from when I was like 7 or 8, I think, and I got to go to my uncle's for Thanksgiving, and my cousin Garrett and his brother David, they would like always bring a game console of choice with them. Like, one year it was the GameCube, the next it was the PlayStation 2, the next after that, we didn't do Thanksgiving at his house, at my uncle's, so we didn't really get to see the family. But when they brought the GameCube over, the one game that I specifically remember them having was Crystal Chronicles, and I just... one of the funniest things was seeing my cousin Garrett having the worst time with figuring out how to get the Moogle to carry the chalice so that he didn't have to. And it was hilarious because he was trying all sorts of button combos and everything, and then I read the instruction booklet for like a minute, if even, and like one of the first things it said was, oh yeah, press X to make the Moogle carry the chalice if you're playing solo, and I'm just like, Garrett, it's X, and he was like so pissed that I figured that out. But then years later, I was going to Hollywood Video with my dad, and Hollywood Video was closing, so they were like selling all of their assets, and Hollywood Video had like a big old treasure trove of GameCube games, and they were like, hey, we have to sell them all, but we can't really guarantee any of the games' quality, so, and you can't really return them, so buyer beware. Which, you know, young me understood, but also didn't understand, like, the fragility of a game disc at the same time. So it was kind of, you know, a double-edged sword. But what was really nice is, the they had a copy of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I had never been able to rent, and they kind of sent out a thing going, hey, if you rented something from us, we need it back, please, but at the same time, we're also reselling it, so we don't blame you if you don't bring back any of the stuff that you rented from us. And, the guy who, like, perpetually rented Crystal Chronicles brought it back, and my dad was super awesome and bought the game. But when we got the disc, one thing that we didn't realize with it is the disc had, like, a space in it where, like, it was cracked so bad that, like, it had just, like, at that point snapped into an incomplete circle. Incomplete. Me fail English, that's impossible. Also, oh my god, yellow team. We've probably lost. But, dang it. Oh well. That's why I hate the team games. But yeah, so we got the disc, and fortunately enough, it worked. Like, the disc, like, had a crack right here to where you could move it physically, like. And strangely enough, the game still ran fine. No, like, slowdown besides, you know, what's present normally in the game. No real issues or corruptions with it. But this kind of leads back into Paper Mario, which I was playing, is that the Paper Mario disc that I got had like a couple tiny scratches in it. Like, imagine like a cat got on his paws on the disc and just started slapping it over and over. That's what the scratches look like on the Paper Mario disc. And for whatever reason, Crystal Chronicles, a very chufty game, could run with a complete, like, breakage in the disc. But Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door couldn't run with tiny little cat scratches on it. And I was kind of pissed because Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door became kind of a rare commodity disc in my city because I ended up buying a different copy off of Amazon, which had similar issues. And I couldn't get past Chapter 2 in the Thousand Year Door because of that. Like, the game just full sail refused once you did the whole Punies quest. And I'm like, cool, game doesn't work. And so I took it to GameStop and I'm like, hey guys, this game doesn't work. And GameStop, this was kind of when I learned that GameStop is a bunch of shady bastards. Well, not the employees necessarily, but the company's policies and behaviors and all of that is the real shady bastardism there. Like, no ill will towards the employees. They were doing their job, and they probably shouldn't have even bought the disc since I told them it was broken. And that there was a scratch that actually prevented the game from running properly after a certain point in the game's progress. But, son of a bitch, they still did it, so credit where it's due. They were some of the real ones. But then, for years, I would, like, be looking at GameStop when the GameCube was still relevant for a copy of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. And sometimes I would find one. And I would decide, hey, it's only like a couple hours at most to get back to where I was. Maybe I can start fresh and have a good experience. And every time, without fail, it would be the same disc. I would get through Chapter 1, I would get through Hooktail's Castle, Then I would do chapter 2. And then, as I'm getting to the end of chapter 2, and the puny quest is finished, and the tree has the self-destruct timer, which I know kind of spoilers for my own stream content, but whatever. The game would, without hesitation, crash every time. And so it kind of just became this cursed copy circulating in my city, going to various GameStops for resale. I don't know what happened to it eventually either, because after a certain year, once they stopped really making GameCube games and no one was buying them, which was very stupid considering the Wii had backwards compatibility and the Wii was a more open console, which was more inviting to a new generation and previous generations that hadn't gotten into video games as much. There's my rant over. But GameStop, for whatever silly reason, decided, okay, we're not going to sell GameCube games anymore, and I never learned what happened to that cursed-ass copy of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door after that. And I don't know, like, if someone just, like, bought it and was able to, you know, keep it, or, you know, somehow got the disc refinished or repaired. Because I know there are disc restoration methods. None that 10-year-old Drywall had access to or the know-how to do. But the methods were out there. And so maybe some guy decided, I think I'll restore this disc instead of, you know, dying in a vat of pink slime. No. Ooh, equip. That looks so cool. Now, if only I had a little skull mask. But yeah, I never know what happened to the disc, and so I think it was actually last year or the year before. Sorry, I just saw a bit of dust on my microphone, got distracted while I wait for the game to populate. I found Emu Paradise, and I found that they had Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and I'm like, oh boy, I can finish this game that I never got to finish as a child. You know, have one of those feel-good kind of make past you proud kind of moments, you know? But unfortunately, I learned that Emu Paradise did not have an actual Paper Mario ROM, because for whatever reason, apparently Nintendo treats that like fucking ink and gold, even though you see what they've done with the series now. Rant. Wine, Origami King is meh. Paper Mario as a franchise is kind of dead on arrival. So I kind of wanted to have one of those moments where, you know, you got to do that thing you never got to as a kid, which, for me, the white whale of that was, oh, I was the last guy. I didn't even realize. Was beat Paper Mario. So, unfortunately, they didn't have it, which had me kind of, you know, morose. So I ended up pulling out my laptop and going to a bunch of shady sites and probably got some long-sustained, never-found malware on my laptop, and then I formatted it, so because it, like, I just had too much on it, and like it was starting to have a lot of slowdown, so I'm like, don't have anything I really need to save on here, so let me just fresh start it. And After hours of searching, I actually had managed to find a copy of the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door that I got, and it worked. And so that summer I kind of beat the Thousand Year Door for the first time, and it was a really nice feel good kind of moment. And I think the payoff to the Thousand Year Door was some of the best in not just a Paper Mario game, but a Mario game in general, because Paper Mario, like, Yahtzee Croshaw of Zero Punctuation kind of put it best with, Paper Mario 64 was them getting the boring shit out of the way with a Grass World, Desert World, Fire World, Ice, etc. And then Thousand Year Door, they got into the more creative shit, like, here's a spooky castle. Here's, you know, a giant tree, as we're gonna see in the next Paper Mario stream that I do. Here's these interim moments with Bowser that give not just, you know, the main characters some flavor and some, you know, character dynamic, but it also gives the villain, who's not even the main villain, some time in the sun and development in ways that, you know, one wouldn't normally think of. And it also just showed kind of, with the first Paper Mario game, we just kind of got serious Bowser, like, grahaha, I shall kidnap the princess for the umpteenth time. With Thousand Year Door, you got to see a more goofy side to everything, but every goofy moment was laced and undertoned with moments of severity of the situation and the gravity of what was going on, which, you know, we didn't get with Paper Mario 64. Like, Paper Mario 64 had moments where it'd be like, hey Peach, what's Mario weak to? Oh, he's weak to mushrooms that normally heal him. Are you sure? Yes, wholesale. He's weak to them now. Just throwing that out there. But we got to see a lot more of the creative and funny side with Thousand Year Door, and Super Paper Mario for the Wii also had a lot of those funny feel-good moments that are just completely absent or just completely phoned in a Color Splash and Sticker Star. Like, spoilers for Super Paper Mario is, I talked about this last time with my whole synopsis of the series, but Tippy sacrificing herself meant something, because not only did you get, you know, the lore as to who she was, but, like, she was also the character that you went on your adventure with. So, just this mysterious character who was kind of quiet and, you know, acted as a game mechanic of pointing at something to learn its HP and weaknesses, became a fully developed and fleshed out character with an interesting backstory and a connection to the main villain, and reason for what she's doing and why she's helping you. But with Sticker Star and Color Splash, you don't get that. Nowhere near as much. You get a magic sticker who's like, oh, stickers are magical, and Bowser's got this super evil magical sticker, but I'm the sticker that can beat it, but we just have to get to Bowser, and then the sticker sacrifices itself, and you get the sad music, and the game's telling you, feel sad. You should feel sad right now. This character made a sacrifice for you. Feel sad. We are giving you all of the hints that you should feel sad. And no one ever feels sad about the sacrifices of the characters in Color Splash or Sticker Star, because they were nowhere near as earned, nowhere near as developed of characters that we grew to, you know, have the connections with. And just... you see so much of that, and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but Origami King, Olivia as a character is already kind of a step in the right direction, but how big of a step? No! Okay, I'm disqualified. Yeah. Damn it. At least we're close to unlocking the hot dog bottom. Then it can be full hot dog. But, yeah, Color Splash's heroic / noble sacrifice didn't really mean anything when no one liked the character and no one, you know, liked the gameplay or the game as a whole. Like, there are some people that do like it. I'm kind of overgeneralizing with saying no one liked Sticker Star Color Splash. Like, Arlo kind of talks about it, and he takes a retrospective and he says it's not as bad as I initially made it out to be. Like, there's a lot of what it does wrong, but it also has things that it does right that I would be, you know, doing it a disservice if I didn't point those qualities out as well, and it wouldn't be fair to the game or to the developers behind it, etc. But even with that olive branch kind of extended, a lot of people still dislike Color Splash and Sticker Star with good reason, I think, because, well, the games do have a lot of issues, and one of the main ones that I've talked about before and is still an issue in Origami King is to substitute an experience point system like we see with star points or just points in general in Super Paper Mario. The only, you know, sense of progress you get is how big the number of damages on the attacks that you have, which is, you know, something you accrue naturally in the game because you have to buy everything. And so they make it so that the only real measurement of progress you have on a numerical value is coins. But the game oversaturates you with coins and, you know, just gives you quite the chufty wallet that is never empty, because you are, you know, every battle is to get coins so that you can buy new attacks to use in battles, to get coins to buy new attacks that you use, and it just, there are good feedback loops and there are bad feedback loops, and the Paper Mario series definitely started with the good feedback loops of showing progress in you can upgrade your health, your flower points, your badge points, what have you. But then it kind of devolved into, cool, now you can buy more shit. And it made this a question, like this almost reverse sunk cost fallacy of, why would I ever get into a combat scenario when I'm just actively harming my own inventory and wasting money? Especially if the attacks have like a Fire Emblem-esque limited number of uses before you get the basic stuff, because the game doesn't want to leave you empty-handed. And the way that the games do that, just, they give you the option to not have the attacks that you're using in battle because each attack had a durability on it or was a one-time use thing, depending on which of the two games. But you would have to actively set yourself up for disaster and not have attacks. You would have to actively do that. It wouldn't be something that just happened. You wouldn't go, oh, I am out of attacks. Shoot. You would have to actively sabotage yourself to accomplish it, for one. And two, even if you did actively sabotage yourself in that way, the game still won't let you. If you have no attacks, the game will give you an attack going, oh, you have no attacks. How did that happen? Well, now we can't have that. You're supposed to attack this turn. And it just becomes the game doting over you and hand-holding up until the final stretch and the last hurrah, and it's just such a disappointing, disenfranchising moment for the series and the way that they handle it, because there's just no love behind it anymore, it feels like. Oh, I could have stayed on that one. Oops. But I think there's still definitely a lot of that in Origami King from what I've seen. With the way that the combat system works, where like attacks have durability on them and you can buy new attacks. But you've also got the ability to purchase the toads setting up the fights for you, because each fight, as they like to proudly proclaim, is a puzzle more than it is a standard RPG fight. Which I think is kind of, you know, blowing smoke out its ass. But at the same time, it is kind of, but only because they've cut so many corners and boxed us in with the gameplay in such a way that we have to kind of resign our expectations and go, yeah, yes, it is a puzzle game, Nintendo. Sure. If that's what you want to call it now, I guess. Go for it. But it's kind of disappointing that we have to be so resigned and accepting that that's what they want Paper Mario to be now, because we've proven with Thousand Year Door, we've proven with Super Paper Mario in spades that we can have puzzles that don't take away from the other elements of the game that make it what people, you know, expect a Paper Mario game to be. And they're starting to kind of swing the pendulum back the other way with Origami King, like I said. But there's also a lot of lasting damage done with the inability to create new characters, the inability to modify old characters, and there's only a finite number of stories that you can tell with the Mario universe and how limited it is, and how, you know, there's always grassland, desert, fire, ice. There's a reason why it's become such a running gag, is because Nintendo has kind of allowed it to be the running gag. They don't do anything to change the minds of the people playing the games. They don't do anything to say, no, we are more than just this specific set of world designs with, you know, the grassland, the ice, the desert. And it's infuriating for a lot of fans, because we can see with Thousand Year Door that they used to be willing to. They used to, you know, decide, hey, we can break the mold, we can think outside the box, and we can have all these unique character designs, these unique environments, and people kind of point to that, and Nintendo just kind of hand waves them, goes, oh, no, we're not that kind of company anymore. And but we have the proof. We have the visible proof that you are willing to do these things, and that you are willing to break the mold with things like we've seen with, you know, Breath of the Wild and its interesting redesigning of the Zelda formula and the Zelda gameplay, and people calling it like fucking Skyrim but Zelda and things like that, and just Nintendo is willing to think outside the box and create something new. But only once in a blue moon, and even when they do, you can see all the hallmarks of Nintendo didn't want to do this, and so that's why it seems so out of place and clunky. That's really what it is, like, and all of the pieces of the Nintendo puzzle of why does the game development cycle for Nintendo seem so labored and so, you know, infuriating behind closed doors is because, like I was talking about earlier, yeah, Breath of the Wild, it's a good game, but still very empty. And I feel like a lot of what we're gonna get in Breath of the Wild 2 is stuff we could have had in Breath of the Wild 1 if they just, you know, been allowed to. Like, Nerl did a great video on this where he talked about why Breath of the Wild is good, but not necessarily great. Like, it's not worthy of all of the praise he gets, is basically his argument, which I actually very much agree with, is that it has a lot going for it, but at the same time it doesn't, because it doesn't let itself. It never stops to, you know, think, how could we have made this moment better? It's a lot of flash in the pan, okay, that's your, you know, big moment, keep it rolling. Like, I've seen a lot of people equate it to, it feels like you're on a theme park ride more than you are a video game with these, you know, incredible, eclectic moments. Like, one of the key examples that he uses is that, like, in Breath of the Wild, you can visit the charred, destroyed remains of Lon Lon Ranch, which, you know, any Legend of Zelda player who's played Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, hell, even the Romani Ranch from Majora's Mask, or, you know, any of those sorts of iterations. Also, Hexagon, oh fuck. There's a kind of reverence just to the name Lon Lon Ranch that you would expect, right? Whereas in Breath of the Wild, one of the things that he talks about is how the ambient, minimalist soundtrack that you see in Breath of the Wild kind of takes a lot of the key notes away from these moments that would otherwise be, you know, much more grandiose of Link visiting these old sites. Like, you just get the same fucking piano refrain for Lon Lon Ranch that you do moving about Hyrule Field without a single shit to give. And it becomes a disenfranchising moment of, oh, this moment doesn't feel anywhere near as fulfilling as it should. Like, there's not even, you know, a memory for Link to find and recover at Lon Lon Ranch. It's just a simple nod from Nintendo going, yes, Lon Lon Ranch. Do you feel better now? Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the lack of, you know, any sort of dynamic soundtrack makes it feel so disappointing. Like, hell, one of... yeah, Memory and Lon Lon would have been awesome, but like, hell, this is how damning it is of a thing, is Skyward Sword had a more dynamic soundtrack with the fact that if you moved to different areas of different vendors in the marketplace, there would be a different instrument added to the already set undertones and leitmotifs of the music. And the fact that Breath of the Wild couldn't even outdo Skyward Sword in something as, you know, necessity of a game as a soundtrack is really, really telling. And it has me just kind of like shaking my head and asking Nintendo, what made you decide that was, you know, damn it, the good decision? Because, like, I'm not a composer, I'm not someone who makes music for a living, so I can't really vouch for the ease or the difficulty of creating a soundtrack, especially when there are, you know, all these stories of the composer making the theme that everyone knows and everyone loves at, like, the 13th hour of a project's creation and production. So I can't really say, oh, it was so simple for them to do this, or, oh, I understand why it would have been so difficult, but just... There's a term that people use, which is the Blizzard polish, which we see in games like, well, not as much nowadays, but like Overwatch, World of Warcraft, which World of Warcraft is still a fucking thing. I played that game back in elementary school. I'm 22 now. You get the occasional sound for enemies, but it's just empty of overarching music. Exactly, you get the same, like, harp and piano, just a couple notes of it. The simple, like, boom, 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 and that's it. No matter where you are. The only time there's ever, like, a unique soundtrack for an area of the world is in the maze areas, but I don't want to spend all of my time in Breath of the Wild in a maze area to hear that music. And it just shows that, like, I am more excited for a maze area where I am boxed in and given a sense of claustrophobia and the necessity to find an end goal and find an exit quicker than any other moment in the game. Oh yeah, there were too many shrines. Like, so much of the game was locked behind, oh, you need to do these shrines. Like, oh hey, you want to get the Master Sword? You need to do the shrines. Like, the game only having 4 bosses, a final boss, a shooting gallery, and like 3 different flavors of mini boss doesn't really, you know, give the game a whole lot of meat. It's like biting into a chicken leg, but all you're getting is gristle, except for the very, very inner part of the bone, where, you know, you get a little bit of meat, but even then it still is, you get the feeling that it's kind of undercooked under the barbecue flavor. Oh, I'm not even talking about, like, the shooting gallery is in, like, the actual one that you can do on a horse. I'm talking about the fucking final phase of Ganon, where he's just this giant purple pig trotting about in Hyrule Field going, ooh, I'm so mad, Link made me a pig again! Like, that counts as a boss battle. When the final form of Ganon does, like, next to nil to damage you. Like, if I'm gonna be totally honest here, the second phase of Ganon in Breath of the Wild, it felt Sonic Forces levels of disappointing in that the enemies were nothing more than gray bowling pins with eyes, more or less. And the fact that that is what the final boss equates to for me is that I can compare the final boss of a Nintendo game to a base enemy in a poorly done and universally disliked Sega game tells you volumes about how fucking unfinished it feels. Oh yeah, the fact that, like, here's the real annoyance though, is if you don't do the things that cut Ganon's health in half, the game goes, oh, you just didn't want to fight the bosses, huh? Well, don't worry, now here's a boss rush like it's a fucking Mega Man game. And it just felt so... You didn't earn that moment, Nintendo, because in a game where we are given choice, we have no choice, actually. Kind of like I was saying with Paper Mario, is that, like, so many of the corners have been cut and we've been put in this neat little box that, you know, they don't want us breaking out. Yeah, if you don't do the beast, it makes you do a boss rush, because a lot of speedrunners... Hey Nero, how's it going, man? Long time no see. I was actually just, kind of putting, Zelda Breath of the Wild on blast, because I went from...
Now, find a new rival.
48 fucking people! Nero, are you insane?
Alright, that's cool.
Thank you so much, though. Oh my god. Thoroughly broken, Nero! Thoroughly broken! Was... Well, welcome to the stream, everybody.
Alright, that's cool.
Mr. Insecure, what are you doing? I was not expecting the lizard pits. Oh my...
Alright, that's cool.
Anyways, how's it going, guys? I'm Sean, aka Drywolf.
Good job.
I'm Sean, aka Drywall Thief. I'm a variety streamer. I'm also an artist, a voice actor, and a college student, you know. All the good stuff in life. And I am also playing the Fall Guys. Alright, have a good night, Nero, and thank you again, man. Holy crap.
Excellent job.
And oh my god, thank you Thunder Baron 1701 for the follow. Thank you King Ass 12345 for the follow. Thank you Mr. Insecure for the 5 subs. Thank you Mr. Insecure for the follow. Thank you Blackfoot Ferret for the bits.
Excellent job.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, caught up. No one ever expects the Elizabeth. I did not. Thoroughly off guard, was about to fall into the slime. But yeah, shoot, give me just a second. Oh my goodness.
Alright.
Once I get on here, oh my god. Oh no, I picked the wrong one. Oh my god. I was gonna give Nero a shout out because holy crap, thank you so much. Oh, you were playing some Yakuza 0. Nice. Love me the Yakuza series. Oh man, okay. Got eliminated, but no worries. Yeah, I really like the Yakuza series. I've beaten Yakuza Kiwami. I need to finish 0, and I like barely started Kiwami 2, and I've almost been considering also streaming the Yakuza games. So like everyone I know is streaming Yakuza right now. Like another friend of mine who streams, Ryudo, he's also a great streamer, does a lot of fighting games. He did Yakuza 0, and now he's doing the Danganronpa series, but he's gonna do Kiwami at some point, I think, and then Kiwami 2. But yeah, thank you so much again, Nero, and thank you to everyone who's followed, the gifted subs, the bits, like... cheeks are a little flushed here. So how we all doing tonight, guys? Y'all have fun at Nero's stream, hopefully. What part is he up to in Yakuza 0, by the way? Oh! Ooh, that was kind of a helpful launch. Except now I can't get up. Oh no. Like, the furthest I ever got was, right after you unlock the, Cabaret Club minigame, because I just ended up sinking hours into, just trying to do the cabaret and get the maximum on that, because I fell into the feedback loop of, hey, make a bunch of yen doing this, and then invest that yen into the, Cabaret Club, and then make more yen, and then invest in a game where money is, you know, the sense of progression and how you unlock things. You end up kind of just spending all your time making money. Oh man. I'm wondering if we're gonna get Slime Climb at all tonight, because I actually really like Slime Climb, and yeah, Kolzak, I just got raided by Nero, who brought me the Lizard Pit, and he was playing some Yakuza 0, so I was kind of talking the Yakuzis, you know, with the Bakamitais and the 24/7 Cinderellas. Like, oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, one of my friends in a group that I play Dungeons and Dragons with, he and I, like, every time either of us rolls in that one, we end up just singing Bakamitai, which, to defend ourselves on that one, we knew it before it became, you know, deep fake meme, so we love Yakuza for more than just the memes. And it's actually cool to see that the Yakuza series, even if it is because of, you know, memes and hype culture around it, is starting to get more of a footing in the West, because I remember it would take like years for us to get a Yakuza game, like fucking Kiwami took forever to come out, and one of the things I think is especially cool is they're talking about we might get Yakuza Ishin, which is the I don't remember what historical period it is that Ishin is based off of, but if we got an English localization of Yakuza Ishin, I think that would be good filler while we wait for the next Yakuza game, which I'm still intrigued to see how they do with Like a Dragon, because I've kind of been avoiding as much of Yakuza 7 spoiler information as I can. Rip those guys. Yeah, Yakuza 5 took 3 years to get localized and almost didn't. So the fact that, you know, we're starting to see the release window between Japan getting them and the US getting them just shrink more and more is such a nice thing, because Sega's realizing, hey, people actually really like these games. They don't just like us for, you know, Sankey the Hedgehog. And, you know, if memes are, you know, part of Sankey, yeah. If memes are part of why Yakuza started to get some footing in the West, then fuck it, I'll say go for it. Yeah, own up to it. Because if it's what, you know, gets Sega to notice that we wanted it, then it still furthers the goal of getting more Yakuza content in the West. Like, I remember for the longest time, there was, Judgment or Judge Eyes or whatever the original name was going to be, they had issues with it almost didn't get finished because some of the voice actors for characters in Judgment got found with cocaine, and drug policies in Japan are way more, you know, unacceptable. There is well, not capital punishment, they're not on the same level as Singapore, but there is hell to pay for it, more so. And so it's still nice to see, even though with all of the issues that were, you know, part of its production, we got Judgment, because back in, like, when we were trying to get Yakuza 5 localized, we wouldn't have got something like Judgment, I'm pretty sure. They would have just gone Japan exclusive, too many issues with localization and all that. Just, we get this one. But, one of the few things that I am spoiled on for Yakuza 7, because a friend of mine showed it to me because of how hilarious of a moment it was, is there's a side quest where an Englishman, like a tourist, is asking for directions. And so you get perfect, like, fluent English. Excuse me, do you know the way to the station? And the main character can't answer. He's kind of at a loss. And then this other guy shows up and he's, you know, doing broken English, but it's still fucking hilarious. And so seeing kind of that harmony of the elements and that understanding is super nice, and like puts a smile on my face and makes me laugh. Yeah, the go your own way guy. I fucking love that. Like, just for simple directions, he's given a fucking, like, a motivational cheer. Believe in yourself! Go, go, go! It's gonna be great. And I'm actually, like, thoroughly intrigued to see how, the RPG combat in Like a Dragon translates from, you know, the, combo beat 'em up style that we have with Yakuza's 0 through 6. Oh yeah, that's right, because we are getting a full English dub of Yakuza 7. Like, the localization teams are doing dubbing now, so that is going to be an interesting one to see how they, you know, translate that and still keep the humor in that. I'm excited to see it though. And also, what's kind of interesting is Sega and Atlus, you know, being buddy-buddy now. I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot more things take on the RPG kind of style, since, you know, Atlus is known for the Shin Megami Tensei series, which, by the way, we're getting Nocturne in 2021, but Dante as, you know, DLC. But to bring back the joke of featuring Dante from Devil May Cry, fuck it. I'm down for it. Normally I'd be like, you don't need to, you know, put content for a game behind a paywall, but we're getting the original of Raito Kuzunoa, who, you know, has... Oh, Majima in English. I didn't even think about... What if they got Mark Hamill back? What if they were so cheeky, they got Mark Hamill back as Majima? Just like, we know we didn't have an English dub of Kiwami, so have Mark Hamill as Majima in 7. Yeah, and the devs are playing a lot of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy the whole time. Then yeah, we're definitely going to see hints and influences of those, which I'm excited for, because also something that I've thought about, and I've been following a fan project on Twitter, and I'm going to follow the Wooly Madden rule of the less you say of it, the better, because it's less likely to get shit canned, even if it is, you know, a Sega property, which they welcome fan content much more than Nintendo. But there was a BioWare made RPG of Sonic on the Nintendo DS that was quite the unique experience. I'll just put it politely that way. And I've actually been following a Twitter where a team is remaking it and overhauling it entirely from scratch in Unity. And so far, it is looking like quite the polished product. The only issue is that they are still like just... Aw, man. Ooh, the sass. Oh yeah, the Sonic RPG had solid gameplay, or story, not the gameplay. Like, one of the best moments of the Sonic RPG was that they continued the lore of Sonic Battle with Emerald, because like growing up I had Sonic Battle on the GBA and I absolutely loved that game. Like that was one of the games that I would always bring with me, kind of. And so to see that kind of get the little side nod from both Sega and BioWare in that moment was just... It was kind of a chef's kiss for the childhood of validation in the little robot who could. And it was super nice to see that, you know, Sega hadn't forgotten some of their old content with that. And they brought back the swap bots, man. The fucking swap bots from SatAM Sonic and the old comics. Like, that is such a deep cut reference. And to see it in, you know, a Sonic game in the past 20 years was magnificent. Oh, and shame we never got the sequel that was... Oh yeah, Ken Penders can eat a shit. The fact that, you know, there was such legal incompetence that he was able to, you know, get a trademark over Sega is baffling. Also, and I... Like, here's one of those things that, like, I say it, but I say it kind of with bated breath, is... Ken Penders' art style is shit, and I know that art is subjective, but... The man could spend more time on some parts of his art. That poor guy was just standing there. He kind of just gave up, but... Yeah, we completely got sequel baited at the end of the Sonic RPG on the DS, and then Ken Penders took Archie and Sega to court, and he's just like, no, these are my characters! See, I made them! And the judge was like, the fuck is a Sonic? Like, what is this character? What is... It was like such a first time that kind of happened thing that it was kind of just... Buh. Alright. Someone has to go this way eventually. Well, thanks, friend. It took him a second to realize that I just completely fucking finessed and ran off with his tail. Basically, he won because the comics publisher screwed up when writing Ken Penders' contract, so they never see Scott. Oh, that is... I mean, what's kind of nice, at least, is we still get Sonic comics with, IDW, and the fact that we still get some of the writers that were part of the Archie team, like Ian Flynn is the one that everyone likes to mention, who is a writer for the IDW, and we've gotten some, you know, unique characters like Tangle and Whisper and Mimic and just all those characters. Like, I haven't really sat down and read the IDW comics myself because I have not really, you know, I think they're on the IDW app, but I haven't really looked into it too much. But it's nice to see that, you know, the comics still have a life beyond the Pandurzian fuck up. And the fact that we see, you know, that there's still like a deep love for the, you know, the IP and the content behind it. Like one of the things that I learned was Dr. Starline, who is supposed to be like a pseudo Mike, almost like Mike Pollock. His shirt is based off the fact that in a lot of interviews and conventions and all that, Mike Pollock wears a purple shirt. And I didn't even realize that until like going back over, and I'm like, oh shit. That's actually really clever. And it's really interesting to see that someone took the time and thought about just the most minute thing like that. And I'm gonna be fully honest, like, considering how open Sega is to fan content, see Sonic Mania and how that was made entirely by fans for fans, I wouldn't be surprised if in future Sonic games we see either entire inclusions or nods to Tangle and Whisper and some of the other characters that IDW has given life to, or, you know, the revival of, like Gemerald. Like, going back to the love of Sonic Battle, BioWare gave us the Gizoids having, you know, a repurposing and taken off of the shelf. And then the IDW comics are like, hey, Sonic Advance did happen. It's canon. I'm just like, yo. Like, for all of the misgivings and vitriol that people have for Sonic Forces and the ever-present debate of boost gameplay versus just 3D speed-up platforming, at the end of the day, both sides share an adoration for the content that you really don't see in a lot of other communities. Like, you see similarities in it, like, Forces was fine, it was classic Sonic that was bad. My issue with Forces is that oh, I got the hot dog bottom. Now I can be the full Frankfurter. Yes. I am complete. And I got the achievement Mad Trendy. Nice. My issue with it is that you had to get engrossed in the supplementary content to, you know, really care about what any of them were doing or who anyone was. Like, I'm just gonna go on record with saying Infinite was underutilized and deserved to be fleshed out more than just some schmuck that Shadow roundhouse kicked and he went, I'm not weak. I'm not. Like, the worst part is that they, in the trailers and in like the preview content and in the time up until the game's release, hyped the fuck out of Infinite. They were like, he's faster than Sonic, he's got reality warping powers, he's got this cool butt metal emo theme song, like, we're going full 2000s era, like, energy on this bad boy. and then he just gets a bop on the noggin from Shadow, has a hissy fit, gets smacked in the gams by Sonic, and just vaporizes into red dust. And it just felt so wasted. Sonic and the Black Knight was good. But that's because I compare it to Secret Rings, and I really did not care for the on-rails gameplay of Secret Rings. That and the song With Me is a slappity-ass jam bop, and I will die on that hill. But one of my issues that I take with the Sonic and the Black Knight is that Crush 40 dubbed over all of the non-Crush 40 songs that had been used for some of the other... Well, they didn't do that for the Knuckles one, I don't think, but the version we got of All Hail Shadow for Sir Lancelot, mind you. I grew up playing Shadow the Hedgehog, and we got the Magnify version of it, which had way less kind of scratchy vocals. Like, no beef with Crush 40. They can sing and they can hit their range fine. But with how, like, bare bones the melody and chorus and all that of All Hail Shadow is, it doesn't lend well to the singer's vocal range in Crush 40 as much as it did with Magnify, with This Is Who I Am and All Hail Shadow. Like, those are my only issues I have with Black Knight. Not gonna lie though, if I had to pick one, like, secondary Sonic series to see given a second chance, it would either have to be the Sonic RPG that we've been talking about and the whole Ken Penders thing, or Sonic Riders, because love me some Sonic Riders, except Free Riders. Free Riders was... ugh. I never really owned a 360, so I didn't get to play it, but seeing everyone's response to how Free Riders was, I can kind of infer that it didn't go well. People didn't like it. Yeah, Riders got done dirty in the end. Like, Sonic Riders 1, it was fun. We just didn't have the mechanics explained to us, and so we had to kind of figure it out as we went along, which led to a lot of frustration. Then we got Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, which took a lot of those frustrations out and made it a simple drift and boost, but added the power, speed, and fly mechanics in much more to kind of make up for that. And I love Zero Gravity. Like, that one is super fun. Love the levels, love the music, love the variety of characters we get. Like, we get Knights, we get Samba de Amigo. We got a crazy taxi board, man. That was a good time. And then Free Riders. Ugh. Man. Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, as someone who, a Sonic R Resurrection would actually be really interesting to see. Like, completely remade, expanded upon. Would be quite an interesting thing to see in the modern age. But, what I would like to see if we ever do get another Sonic Riders game, fingers crossed, is, one, no motion control. Don't. We've learnt our lesson. See, what was the Team Sonic Racing? That one got kind of some mixed reviews, which I understand. I still like All-Stars Racing Transformed. But, no, this... I'd like to see another Sonic Riders game, but also... add free roam kind of maps or modes because what use is a trick system if you ain't gonna have that good old Tony Hawk energy in there? And especially with the fact that, you know, Pro Skater 1 and 2 are getting remastered. So it would just be like Tony Hawk with hoverboards, which I am a man who loves hoverboards. So that would just be cherry on top for me. You know? That's kind of where my head's at with the Sonic Riders series is, one, give us racing modes, two, give us like free trick performance kind of modes, or free skate. Because then not only would you have, you know, the racing game fans, you would also have the Tony Hawk game fans who like to, you know, rack up all sorts of crazy tricks and stuff. Like, people still play Tony Hawk's Underground via Thug Pro, and they have found ways to just absolutely break that game to where you can do infinite midair wall plants and sticker slaps to the point of where you're just out of bounds in the skybox doing like millions of points worth of tricks in Tony Hawk's Underground. That's what the meta is at with that game, and with the addition of Thug Pro. And so, honestly, Sega could kind of wedge their way in on that market and get the racing fans and get the fans of Sonic Riders. So you'd just be getting this Venn diagram of things that people like in an age where we're seeing a resurgence in those kinds of games and their gameplay. Oh, also, one of the things that I kind of love, because of how much it makes people kind of put their heads in their hands, is with the revival of Tony Hawk and its soundtracks, and the fact that, yes, we are getting Superman by Goldfinger, Ska's coming back. Ska's not dead. They try to kill it, but it never stays dead. No, no! It should be. No. Ska's not dead, Mako. Ah, man, I got eliminated again. Ska's not dead. It will never die. In the words of Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I would never turn my back on Ska, because Ska would never turn its back on me. And then he proceeds to start skanking right there in front of the news reporter. It wasn't offensive, but he sure was a rude boy. That and the fact that, like, as a fan of music, I do like a lot of brass and big band stuff occasionally, so ska having a lot of the more punk kind of vibes to it and the alt-rock vibes to it mixed with the brass is kind of just, like, my guilty pleasure kind of music, I will admit. Some of the, like, one of the bands that I don't like as much as I used to in high school is Streetlight Manifesto, and that's because a lot of Streetlight Manifesto stuff does start to sound samey and have a lot of the same messages and just be non-stop angry at every little thing. But some of their stuff is good, like I still remember one of my favorite moments is at prom. Me and my buddy Steven actually rented the same tux from the same style of tux, like we had the same undershirt, blazer, jacket, etc. And we saw each other at prom, and I'm just like, oh shit, Steven, and I don't know what provoked it, but both of us in unison did the chorus line for line to Point Counterpoint by Streetlight Manifesto from Everything Went Numb. And that was one of the most, like, magical ska-related moments I've ever had. Meanwhile, my girlfriend, who was at prom with me, she kind of looked at me like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you like this? I still had fun that night, though. But at the same time, with Plague 19 and all the people who are like, oh, I didn't get to graduate, oh, I didn't get to have prom. Like, literally just, if it's within your social distancing, like, parameters, just get some friends together, get dressed up real nice, have some nice food, and, you know, enjoy your favorite music. And also with the graduation thing, it's bleh. Why aren't I like that more? Why am I not, you know, quoting entire, like, motor mouth choruses from ska? Because, one, I've kind of moved away from Streetlight Manifesto kinds of ska. And two, it makes me run out of breath quite quick. And if no one else knows the song, you just seem like you're having like a weird moment. Like, kind of looping back to what we were talking about with a Yakuza only being recognized for... Oh no! I got distracted there. Going back to Yakuza only, like... with Baka Mitai only being recognized now as, you know, the funny haha deep fake Yakuza song. And then the people who would actually genuinely sing it and enjoy it before it became a meme. It was strange, it was weird, it was, what are you singing along to, and why? And nowadays, you know, you show someone a video file, but it's a still photo, and something in the back of their head is going to click, and they're going to go, is he going to show me a deepfake Baka Mitai video? Whereas ska, you don't really get that. Oh, and Protege, we talked about this last time, I think, but Mako, did you see that I fell and died? But also, with Fall Guys, Konami actually acknowledged Metal Gear Solid as a franchise again, solely through the fact that they're like, hey, Fall Guys, we made these Solid Snake Fall Guy outfit designs. Maybe you could put them in the game. Yeah! Konami stopped playing patchy slots for like 5 minutes, drafted up some Solid Snake. Specifically, I think a lot of them were styled after Big Boss and MGS3 Fall Guys. And they pinged the Fall Guys account on Twitter, and they're like, we made you guys some art. Oh, look at that! It's Solid Snake. I wonder what caused that. But maybe you could. Oh, I don't know. Maybe put it in the game if you want to. You don't have to, but Konami Metal Gear, and it made me excited because it reminded me of the good times with Metal Gear. But then it reminded me, Konami. Hey kids, do you like buying save slots as DLC? Do you like how a game's lead writer, director, and developer isn't allowed to receive a reward because you guys don't feel like he earned it? Oh, there's... Pull the lever. Hashtag pull the lever. Also, Armored Core, Jehuti, those would be cool to see again as well. Maybe not as Fall Guys outfits, but maybe bring your fucking franchises back, Konami. Not gonna lie though, from what little I played of Death Stranding, since, you know, I bought it for my girlfriend for her birthday last year, which Death Stranding predicted 2020 in a lot of ways we weren't prepared for, I feel like. It came out right when it needed to, but also it was kind of a herald of what to come in a lot of ways that we didn't think. Death Stranding, you could tell that Kojima had nothing but excitement and love with making that game. That, like, I feel like if he got the Metal Gear franchise back from Konami right now, it would just kind of be this endless vitriolic dick waving of, I got it back. Like, having a franchise or an IP taken from you as a game developer, I think, kind of just embitters you and poisons the well on any future relationships with that company. Like, God, if we got an end to MGS5, I would just bless up. But Konami has a lot of great properties that is completely wasting because it's an awful stewardship. The asses will be 400% more defined if Metal Gear Solid got back into Kojima's hands. You know that we would see every individual pore on Big Boss's butt. But, a good example, I think, of this is, and this might spawn a little bit of people kind of going, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I feel like Tetsuya Nomura had a lot of, like, moments where he was kind of just dwelling on how Versus 13 got taken from him, like he did with Kingdom Hearts 3, because, like, Mako, I think back when I was in Shy's Pillow Fort Discord, and you were there too, me and Sade, and I think you were on too, and Trip and everyone was talking about how Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of felt like just the most discombobulated, Nomura was out of steam and didn't want to work on it anymore mess. But also there was a lot of him just kind of pointing the finger at Versus 13 and what it could have been, going, this is what was taken from me. And then I feel like we got a lot of that with the story beats in... Oh, damn it! But I feel like we also got a lot of that with the story beats in the remake of 7, and how, you know... spoiler alert and cover your ears for those who haven't played 7 Remake and want to, and have, like, been avoiding all information on it. And I'll give you a thumbs up when it's clear to remove the fingers from your ears. With the addition of the spirits that kind of kept everything the way it was, and Sephiroth going, hey, I'm going to completely change Destiny, and I'm going to, you know, say, nuts to this, we're not getting the same plot as we did with FF7. I feel like a lot of that is Tetsuya Nomura going, yeah, we could have had a remake, but what's the point in having a story be preserved if it's just going to be ripped away from you in one fell swoop? I feel like that's a lot of what we got with Final Fantasy VII. By the way, clear to remove the fingers from your ears. But yeah, so I think that if a franchise is taken from you... Oh yeah, also, it is definitely mocking the purists, because, like, people have been on his case for this shit since Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus, which, by the way, do you think we're gonna see Genesis, aka Gact, in part 2 of the remake in any sort of way. I think we just might. We just might see a resurgence in Gact. Which, by the way, don't look up what Gact is doing nowadays after being, you know, a pop star, because I think he is still kind of a pop star, but the last article I saw that his name was on was... I did not expect to see that. Also, I didn't think I was going to survive that jump. But I think with the remake and, you know, how that went, we are definitely going to see more Zack, especially with the fact that, you know, I think it was Klemps who said it. I might be wrong on this. I might be mistaking who said it, but someone who reviewed it that I watch on YouTube said that the Sephiroth reveal for the Final Fantasy VII Remake was never going to have the same grandiose feeling that we got with the original one, because in the original FF7, you never saw Sephiroth up until, you know, the big reveal moment. Like, you didn't even see him in Midgar. You didn't see him until, like, after the Midgar Zolom, and everything was kind of a big don't fuck with Sephiroth sign. But then in the remake, it's like, cat's out of the bag. You've known for years who long silver-haired boy is. It's not gonna have the same feeling. And so I feel like, yeah, you don't see him till like I said, Costa del Sol. And before that, it's just everyone going, "You mean Sephiroth? We don't talk about Sephiroth for reasons. Just stop talking about him, please. I fear for my life." And yeah, so with the fact that, you know, Final Fantasy as a series has, oh yeah, they all think he's dead, and then when they see his handiwork, they're all just kind of shitting britches going, "That's the Masamune, and that belonged to one bad dude." And so having the reveal of Sephiroth like later into the game was the big oh shit moment. But now that, you know, in a day where JRPGs are localized more, in an age where we see so much like extra Final Fantasy VII content, it's almost kind of interesting to see someone who doesn't know who Sephiroth is. So I think we also have a lot more people who know who Zack is, so we're gonna get a lot more of those, you know, flashback moments. The one thing I want to see with the Final Fantasy VII Remake that never got addressed is what happened to Cissnei from Crisis Core? Like, the last thing we see of her is her going, yeah, I can't find Zack even though he's sitting right here in front of me. He's gone. Peace, by the way, my name's not Cissnei. I've been lying to you the entire game. Gongaga? Oh boy. That's a ways off then, considering the pace that we, had with Midgar in the remake. Like, I was watching my friend Twani stream the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we were talking about this, and I think Nomura said that there's, and I might be wrong about this, that there's going to be 10 games in the remake of Final Fantasy VII versus the 3 discs that the original one was. And if everything goes at the same pace that Midgar did with so much like supplementary content, some places are going to get completely just like overlooked in favor of the more flashy spectacle. Like, I can guarantee Golden Saucer is probably going to be its own game. I feel like the remake is going to be pretty liberal with existing canon. Yeah, especially given, you know, like you said, obvious reasons. And the fact that I feel like this first game was no more kind of getting our toes in the water and going, so here's how it's going to be, here's what to expect, now don't whine. You've been warned. And people are, like... I saw some people actually kind of whining that, Yuffie is probably going to be a required character. And I'm like... So? She had, like... great abilities and was an essential member of my... No! Oh my god, I saved it! Yuffie was an essential member of my party in Final Fantasy VII, so to have her not be in the remake would be... But yeah. Yuffie is a great party member, and like... She had an annoying quest tied to her, but she was a great... Yeah, because we saw her develop, especially with, you know, I feel like there was a lot more pity in seeing her grow when you think about Crisis Core 2, because Zack and Soldier and Shinra just deadass invade Wutai, and out pops Yuffie going, I'm the hero, and she, like, air punches Zack, who in the confusion of the moment just goes, owie, you got me. And then you see the tragedy of Yuffie realizing, oh hey, our entire society kind of just got fucked up. So having that naivete from Crisis Core and the fact that, you know, Remake is making Crisis Core canon, it's going to be interesting to see how Yuffie as a character changes with that in mind. Oh my goodness, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this mode just feels like a more annoying Lucio Ball. Conform plus morph broken, yes. Remake also changed the ending, which made me fun. Okay, another, like, issue that I have with the fucking remake of FF7. Oh yeah, Crisis Core changed its ending. The ending to Crisis Core. The Price of Freedom is one of those tracks that I don't care what I'm doing. If I hear The Price of Freedom, I will just get sad. I could be working out. I could be feeling like I'm on, like, the peak of my life. But if you play The Price of Freedom, immediate frown, tears welling up in the eyes. But the implications of the ending of the FF7 remake have me a little concerned at the same time, even if Nomura is kind of showing us that things are going to be changed. Is, and again, spoilers, and I'll give the thumbs up when I'm done with the spoilers, so 3, 2, 1. With Zack not dying, we don't see Cloud have that trauma and have that imposter syndrome to where he thinks he's Zack, so what is causing Cloud to still think he's Zack or have those Zack mannerisms in the remake? Or the disenfranchisement that he's Soldier? That's my biggest issue, and by the way, we're clear to, you know, listen in again, but that moment was pivotal, even if it was, you know... Here's the thing about Crisis Core and that moment, though, is Crisis Core expanded on the moment. Zack dying was in the original. It wasn't as, you know, momentous of an occasion. We saw it in Cloud having, you know, the complete and total dissociation when he falls into the live stream with Tifa. But when it comes time for, you know, Cloud to say, I am who I want to be, I am my own person, we see the moment where Zack dies. And he dies on a cliffside just getting shot by a couple of soldiers, and it's kind of just left at that. They're like, that was Zack. That is the person who Cloud has been having this identity crisis of the entire game. I think what it is an after effect change, so since Cloud was fucked when they caused the change, he still is. That is also true. We don't know all of the mechanics behind, like, how that works, and apologies for saying this in 2020. I feel like this is gonna go into near Homestuck, I'm so sorry, levels of, like, timeline splitting and, you know, resyncing and splitting again and resyncing, and just the butterfly effect is going to be knocking on the door asking when it is allowed to come in the house. This is one of those situations where if you think too hard about the mechanics, you're just going to hurt. It is. And it's also one of those things where, like, if you're thinking about it this much, you get the slight feeling that maybe the writers didn't even think about it as much as you are. And you're, you know, just overworking yourself for something that they're just like, yeah, we just did this because we want to. It's almost in a way similar to, like, the fan asking the writer, did you make Sophie's curtains blue because they represented her sadness and the fact that she sees the world through a veil of depression? It's like, no, I just wanted blue curtains in that scene. I feel like it's almost going to be one of those, the curtains are just blue kind of scenarios. Also, oh, I did not do good this round. I don't know, that's kind of my takeaways, that people are putting too much thought and stock into it, more than the writers themselves are in a way. Are they blue with black stripes or... Mako. Mako, think about what you're doing, please. We don't need more people to die. Exactly, Protege. It's kind of going back to something I was taught in high school with advanced placement psychology, is Freudian's idea, Sigmund Freud's idea of, is it just a guitar? Also, I just realized this Fall Guy is Homer Simpson. He's got the white shirt, he's yellow, he's got blue pants. That's Homer Simpson. Someone made a Homer Simpson cosplay in Fall Guys. Personally, I'm more interested in the implications in the episode that Shinra Jr. might be playable characters. As long as he gets the cool dog. If we get the cool dog, then I'm down for that. Because as a guy who picks like the Beastmaster / Hunter characters in like every instance where I can, because having a pet is rad, please give us Rufus Shinra with the dog as a party member. Also makes me want an FF8 remake because I need an HD version of the Eyes on Me. Dude. Yes. Actually, one better. HD remake of Final Fantasy IX. So that we can have all of Vivi's moments in HD so that we can feel super sad and understand the fucking finality of the ends and just... And... Also because, Freya is admittedly my favorite instance of the Dragoon character archetype because she deserved better, she deserved her story not being forgotten. Also, damn it, Mako. Final Fantasy VI Remake would also be good. This is just gonna devolve into like all the reasons why every Final Fantasy game except 2 deserves a remake. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Let 2 die. It was bad. I don't think that if they kept the mechanics and systems from 2 that it'd be salvageable. Just let 2 stay in the ground. 2, if you turn it into an Elder Scrolls title. I stand corrected. Somehow I was out and you brought me back in. Also, Protege, I will slap you, son. 2 was not perfect. Like, there are many things that one can argue is a truth or a false in this life. That is not one of them. Yeah, also, Final Fantasy 1 definitely can be left in the past. You know what would be just the ultimate power move? If Square Enix decided, what if we found ways to make 8-bit theater canon? What if they found a way to make any of 8-bit theater canon? Ah, come on, Mr. Insecure. What if they gave us sword chucks, and that was it? Just sword chucks, nothing else in reference to 8-bit theater. And it would be the most worthless weapon. And I mean, I like seeing some of the remakes and remasters that we've gotten, like the fan theories on Shadow of the Colossus and, you know, the 1,000 Steps or whatever. Like, I remember, like, I saw this half-hour documentary on, like, all these fan theories of Shadow of the Colossus, and then seeing they were validated in the fucking PS4 remake. And, like, the years and years of theories got made canon. That was a very interesting moment. I got decent distance in, but I quit in the end. 6 is pretty good. I would say that's where the transition from what Final Fantasy used to be and how people see it today with like the materia system from 7 is honestly one of the best things because it led to a lot of mixing and matching of skills. It led to a lot of yeah, there's the quote-unquote like metas, but there's also, you know, the unique and unconventional party setups. There's the unique and unconventional materia setups, and it just made every like person who played it seem like they had a unique setup for their characters, and it gave it a lot more, you know, exploration and depth. Want 612. Mark Hamill as Kefka. Yes, please. But also, at the same time, part of me is saying we should have someone else be the person everyone knows as the funny haha clown role, because like Junction is one of those ideas that could have been as inventive as Materia, but just yeah. But here's the thing is, Hamill's getting old, and he's probably tired of either just being, you know, Luke Skywalker or being the Joker or some watered down version thereof. Like, I know that he does have fun with it. Like, there was the animated Batman short where Mark Hamill was kidnapped by the Joker, and the prankster or whatever the Flash's version of the Joker is, and they're saved by Swamp Thing, who is also voiced by Mark Hamill, so it just became like a one-man act of Hamill. So he does have fun with the roles. Trickster, that's what it was, not prankster. Trickster. There's so many like synonymous Joker surnames that you could use to where it was kind of reaching into a hat. But yeah, seeing Hamill does have fun with the voices, but I feel like even if you have fun with something like that, after a while it gets tiring for everyone to say, just do this. No! Dang. Oh man, it's already 12:30. My family's probably going to be calling it a night soon. So, I think, even though we didn't manage to get the crown this stream, I had a heck of a lot of fun, and give me a second here. And I really, again, appreciate all y'all stopping by, and the great conversations and all that, and you know what? I think we need to keep the love going, so, I'm gonna look for someone to raid, but if you've got any suggestions, yeah, because I don't have anyone I'm following online, so if you got somebody you think I should raid, shout it out in the chat and let's go, you know, keep the love going. But, while I look for that, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who stopped by. Thank you to... And I got a list here for y'all. Thank you to Mr. Insecure for the follows. Thank you to Blackfoot Ferret for the 1337 bits. Quite leets. Mr. Insecure for the 500 bits. Gaijin Shadow for the follow. Mako Reactor for the follow. Mr. Insecure for the 5 tier 1 subs. Holy crap. Thunder Baron 1701 for the follow. And King S 1234-5 for the follow. Alright. Well then, let me see then. What are they up to? Looks like Panda Assassin is currently hosting Ed Bosco. They were playing some FF14. So, yeah, no worries. I think instead, I'm gonna take a hint from Twitch, and I see someone who's got 22 viewers. Let's go add on to that, and let's go say hi to, a Dark Wolf 7786. So again, thank you to everybody who stopped by tonight. Thank you to Nero for bringing the Lizard Pit. Y'all have been wonderful. Loved the conversations, loved the energy. And again, thank you guys so much, and let's go spread the love. Have a good night, everybody.